Conflict cause and types. Working as a pairs, how to the picture below the reflect the title of the unit, Peace and Conflict. Here the quote from the Delhi Memorial spiritual leader of the tributary people leader quota work. The partner discuss why the agree or disagree the statement. Read the text below on conflict answer the question that below. What is conflict? Conflict can be described as a disagreement among the individual group characteristics by the antagonism on virality. This is as usually happens when parties to conflict cannot be agreed on a peacefully resolution of the continuous issue. Very often element of the conflict has as opposing interests of the needs, misunderstanding, streets, and frustration and a lack of communication contributes to the escalation of hostility. However, not only conflict lead to fight and a third party's invitation often resolves a conflict. Conflict is inhabitable part of life. It is varied as a cause that contributes to it. All of us have our opinions, ideas, and also beliefs. We also have our own way to look. And the things we are according to what and things is proper. If however we are asked to ring it about this and don't allow us others freely express their opinion and the beliefs and if are right and holds them conflict becomes inevitable. Conflict as a involves two more say parties, but we have as a conflict within our own selves. If you read the great target of the Shakespeare, we realize how to tragic heroes suffered from the conflict within. Conflict has influenced our actions and reactions and the way of the conflict ourselves in the society. Causes, tips, and conflict. Conflict basically of these types on a sharing of three different causes economics conflict resources and limited and so group and individual come into conflict with every other forces of many these resources as possible thus giving rise and hostile behavior among those involved well conflict it is it is concerned with the veiled performance and ideologies that people have and principles conflict driven by the factor demonstrated in oaths wherein a considering parties and the separate sets of beliefs that are said and is ascribed to manner. Power conflict. It occurs when the parties involved intend to maximize what an influence their into a social setting has and happens among individual groups in the nation. Conflict are the classical form for following types. Interpersonal conflicts. This type of conflict refers to antagonism between two individuals. This occurs typically because different among people. Apparently, it is naturally occurrence which, if there are hosted involved, can eventually help in personal growth or developing or relationship with others. Interpersonal conflict. It occurs within an individuals. The experience takes part in a personal mind, hence in types of the conflict that's physically involving the individual's thoughts, values, principles, and emotions. Intergroup conflict. It is a type of conflict that happens among individuals within a term. It arises from interpersonal disagreement or difference in views and ideas. Within the terms, conflict can be helpful in coming up with a decision with and eventually allows the member to raise their objection at time. However, if the conflict is serious and as a disperse and harmony among the members, there must some helpful guidance from the different part who needed an as a resolution. Intergroup conflict it takes place when misunderstanding arises among us a different term which is organization. This is due to varied set of the goal and efforts of these different groups, addition conflict and intergroup and conflict. Give the appropriate meanings of the following words. Also mention the part of speech of the word. The senses of the direct within us participates to make sentences with their own sense is sensed from antagonism, continuous ideologies, hostility, harmony, disparate, escoration, isolation. Answer the following of the question what according to the text and conflict. What causes conflict? How many types of conflict does text list? Is there any part of type of conflict that are aware of? How does conflict influence our actions and decisions? Do you think conflict can be resolved within out and as a being harmed? How many intergroup conflict different from us intergroup conflict? How are interpersonal conflict different from interpersonal conflict? Read causes and type conflict again the read text in the grid of below. The first column includes different types of conflict. The second column shows causes conflict to third and shows parties involved the conflict. Mass into column, the first one was done from it. Economics conflict, value conflict, power conflict, interpersonal conflict, intergroup conflict, intergroup conflict. Dif- Difference in the people's opinions and beliefs, varied opinions of group, completing within and others, valid opinions, members and as a group, desire from authority and dominates from us others, strangling from wealth, personal indecision about us choosing between right and wrong, conflict on us ideologies, involving part multi benefits help to individuals different beliefs members and teams terms and as organization reason for read the below on a summary of this section a fill in the gaps of the express word of the conflict in a summary define cause whereas individual causes values intermediate phenomenon and other selves. Conflict can be desired as a cause of the idealism among the things and it was a detailed satisfaction. Contention resources is also of the conflict. Conflict is a very national and human and we are often by different sources conflict as we have a conflict with us others. We have conflict with us or on the conflict between us two is called interpersonal conflict with an own and interpersonal conflict when a different group and fighting with on the intergroup of a conflict and the conflict within any group and intergroup of a conflict. Curious conflict. Look at a picture. What is a show? Curious conflict affect people in a different ways. As it has economics impact, it has a psychological, social, geographical infos to read as two terms, curious of conflict, and the activities that follow. Poem. Elo may be Elogia Mia Elogiana, American poet, the songwriter, playwright, film and director, and autobiographia was the born STS Luisa Semisonio 4 April 1928, spent mass of the childhood stars and with her paternal grandmother. When she was 8 and victim of abuse of someone close of his mother. And the experience of the left terrorist from several years she could not speak in and 14 Amigo moved from San Francisco and she New York when she begins her education career. Mia Enigorio had a remarkable range of interest and career. She was a dancer and a singer and editor. In the editor, she also engaged states in the firm, but her writing what enjoyed the most. She was the most poet and praised of this. She was a interpreting social and political terms and the free poems without compromising their poetic and static quality. She wrote the poem National is known as the black and Victorian language a black man of American is used and every day. Her poems often deals with a serious matter but also humor